Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. My name is Evan, and I have my two friends along with me. Again, do you want to introduce yourself, guys?
No, yeah, sure. I can introduce myself. I was waiting for David, and then I realized I am number 2. And I also realized I just introduced David.
What a power move. What kind of like he could have just said, "Oh, I was just waiting for David," and then he had to go in and be like, "Oh, but I'm the number 2."
I realized the pecking order, and I wanted to establish my dominance here.
In bathroom etiquette, if we were in bathroom etiquette, you are technically the. And I am a flow of diarrhea, apparently. So
I was gonna say, if that's the case, yeah, you're like explosive diarrhea. Like
I thought you were gonna say I was asserting my dominance by peeing in the same urinal as you, but
have you ever done that?
Why would I try to do that?
No, yeah, why? Why would anyone do that?
Yeah.
It just occurred to me, and I was like, that would be a total power move, but also very concerning.
Especially if all the other urinals were open.
There's like a wall of them. It's like movie theater where
it's the guy at the very end, and he's just peeing, and you just walk up and just start peeing in the same urinal, and he's just like,
I am God.
It's like, no, just you know, no eye contact, no nothing. It's just like this is happening now, and you just do it, and he has nothing. He can do nothing but accept it. Like that's the only thing that can happen.
I swear, Willie is that. I remember vividly. Anytime I talked to somebody about that, he had a rule about uncomfortability. That rule was uncomfortability doesn't exist. So basically, he and I and Preston went one time to go see the second John Wick movie. And when we were leaving, we did our, routine bathroom break. So, I went into a stall, Preston went to a stall, and then there was a guy who was at a urinal, and there was a wall of probably 10 or 12. This is the one in Fashion Valley, the fancy schmancy one. So as a joke, before I went in, I was talking with Willie, and I'm just like, oh, if there's someone in there, I want to stand right next to him, no matter where he is on the stalls. And of course I didn't, because when I headed in, I headed straight to the stall. And all I see is the feet of Willie walk right next to this gentleman to the exact next urinal. No. Start, and I'm like happy because I don't see his face. I don't see anything, and all I see is feet. And then I quickly see the guy's feet of Willie next to him, kind of shuffle a little bit to the left.
Oh my gosh!
And then it's a good 30 seconds before any of them do anything, and then I feel like even if he wasn't done,
just a lot of shaking, and please be done.
I feel like this is like the most appropriate story for a guy named Willie.
Oh yeah, no, trust me, that's not the first time he's gotten that. And we left, and I'm like, why did you do that? And he's just like, you gotta just press people's boundaries sometimes. And I was just like, well, did he make a face at you? And he was just like, I tried to stare at him the whole time. I was like, Willie, you can't do that to someone. You can get us in trouble. And he's just like, no, because he smiled towards the end. I'm just like, oh, okay, that's
yeah.
All right.
See, I was joking. I was making up a horrible story, but you, of course, had to have a real life story. Go ahead. Evan.
It's with Willie, it's how it is, and trust me, some of the stories come with not so fun anecdotes. 9 times out of 10, it's some old ass Karen or some boomer Brad who's like, you can't. I have one in which
boomer Brad. Oh
seriously,
I had Douglas, my friend Douglas. He whenever we go out somewhere and like there's a urinal, like, or like a row of urinals and we both go, like I'll pick one. He'll always get the one right next to me, and then he just stares at me the entire time because he knows that I can't go if someone's looking at me. Like my body like tenses up. I can't do it. So he's just like, he stares at me, and not only does he stare at me, but then he just like quietly, just quiet enough so that I can hear him, just goes, look at me. And I'm just like, dude, I can't. And he's like, look at me. And then it just gets louder and louder. And I'm just like, I can't. Look at me. It's just so uncomfortable. And that's why, like, if we're out in a public place together, like, I don't go to the bathroom with him at the same time. I try to space it out. So it's just okay, he went. He probably won't have to go.
Thing, I remember that because I remember, I think he and I were playing something. Oh, it was go-kart. That's what it was. It was Mario. And I remember you and I played, and then you quickly went up and you were like, Doug, you play. And then the instant he sat down and got himself ready, you were like, I'm going to the bathroom.
Yeah. I was just like, distract him, make sure. Distract him, make sure he can't go to the bathroom at this moment, and I'm going to go so that I don't have to deal with that. That's exactly what that was.
It all makes sense. It's all coming together.
Yeah, of course. Okay. So we have a couple
Nathaniel.
ideas.
I'm Nathaniel, by the way, because I did not say that at any point.
It's been so long, everyone forgot.
I just
who are these schmucks and why are they talking to us?
I imagine he's like the when he said that, I could just imagine him in the back of a classroom, like everyone's leaving after like they're taking roll call and they just skip it. So just to be spiteful, at the end of the school day, he just raises his hand and just shouts, "Oh, I'm Nathaniel, by the way."
No, it's like when someone sneezes.
Absolutely.
I'll sometimes wait a few minutes and then be like, "Oh, bless you," and they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "You sneezed like a few minutes ago."
Okay, so I was in the car and I was driving, and Lotta was with me, because we're married, and we I know, yeah, I love her too. Yeah, the car is great. So I was driving and I always have these thoughts to myself where I'll have a whole train of thought in my head and I won't say anything. But then today I was just like, no, I'm gonna say it. We're gonna talk about this. We're gonna talk about the weird things that rattle around in my head. So I was just like, hey, Lotta, my beautiful wife of mine. I said that out loud. Do you ever have a moment where you hear someone say something that kind of sets you up for a joke and you kind of like think too long about it, and by the time you come up with something good, the moment is kind of already passed, but then you kind of sit there and debate whether or not you should say it, and then even longer time passes, so that at that point you're just like, I really shouldn't say it now, and then you kind of just like laugh to yourself because it was funny, but you came up with it way too late, and she's just like, that sounds like exclusively like a you problem.
Saying that. I can picture her saying that. She's a woman who does not miss a beat either. She doesn't even take a second to think. No. She's just like, no, that's you. That's completely your problem.
Yeah. Her words cut, and it's so like, it's great. I love her so much. I was gonna
say, I experienced that too. So maybe Lotta's just above most of the population.
It's the doctorate. It's the doctor.
There you go.
You do that from time to time too. Like I'll find us like talking about something, and we're genuine, like we're in the conversation, and then I'll say something, and then you'll just be like, no, not at all. And then certain people just have a weight behind their voice. Like I don't think I do in the slightest. Right now you do. I feel like, and Sabrina says it all the time. Oh no, I own that 112%, because like I'll try to have a serious conversation with Sabrina, and like she'll just start busting up laughing, like, what's wrong with you? And she's just like, I can never take you serious. And I'm just like, oh good, this will go real well.
I have that. So. I have that with Lotta sometimes too. I'll be saying something, and then she'll be like, are you being serious? I'm just like, yeah. She's like, I can't tell. And I'm just like, that's sad.
There's like with Sabrina,
right.
Like,
Well, one time, she asked me, I can't remember what it was, but she asked me a question and it made me laugh, but like I answered her while I was laughing. So she didn't believe me. She was just like, I was just like laughing and she's like, I don't believe you. I was just like, no, it's just like the way. And then I tried to convince her that like no, like just the way you said it was funny. And that's why I laughed. He's just like, no, I don't believe you. You're lying to me. I'm just like, no, I'm not.
Like that's what I talk about. She just cut so straight. She's just like, no, I don't believe you. You are lying to me.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
You're almost like when people like that. And like I said, Nathaniel, this is you too. Like sometimes when you do that, you like it. Like people like us who just don't understand what the concept of a conscience is. We have to like actually like this is like the moment where somebody press Control Alt Delete and get the task manager up to see
and
what's
then
going
delete
on.
Task manager.
Like sometimes, like no, yeah, because like in that moment, if I was you, I'd have been like, "What? Wait, was I? I was lying." Like she said, like people say it in a way
makes you contradict
that
yourself.
like. It convinces you. Yeah, it convinces you, the person who knows for a fact that you didn't lie.
Did I?
To be like, wait.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah. And
successfully hacked.
Yeah. And then what's even funnier is like she'll come home. Well, at the beginning, after we got our cats, by the way, we got cats now for all of you that are catching up on our lives.
And their names
are Asher and Alfred. Those are the names that the rescue gave them, and we were like, we're not going to change their names. That's fine. They're fine the way they are.
The names.
No, I don't, because I mean that's just who they are now. Like their attitudes match their names now, just because like we've known them as that, so it just makes sense. And another thing, like you don't like adopt a child and be like, oh, I can't pronounce that. You're Jeff now. Like that's not nice. Like, oh, I don't like that name.
Right.
Yeah, so we were just when we were adopting them, they're like, "Are you going to change their names?" And I was just like, "Nah." I mean, we've been referring to them as their names before we adopted them, so that's who they are. So that's fine. Every person is like who I've told said their names. They're just like, "Oh, that's so cute. You gave them like human names." I'm like, we didn't give them anything. Like. I gave them a roof and food. That's what we did. Like,
also, Asher, I feel like he kind of has the dominance in that situation. Asher, and then it's just like Alfred, because you don't really hear that many people named Asher.
Asher is the more submissive one of the two.
Oh, really?
So it's funny you say that. Alfred the bully. Like he's just a bully, and. He's a dick. Like he doesn't care. Like
so he's Michael Caine Alfred and not the new hunky whatever his face is Alfred.
Yes, that's exactly it. That's a great, And then Asher just wants to play all the time. That's just his thing. And he doesn't want to cuddle unless it's like the last resort to get attention. So that's just who he is. But yeah. Anyway, what I was saying before you made me talk about them was, so we got cats, and then whenever Lotto would come home from work, I'd be like sitting there, like, hi, and then she would just talk to the cats and just be like, hi, and I'm just like, cool, I guess I'm not here. and then she started to curve it, and now like when she comes home, she's like, hi little ones, hi big one, and hugs me, and it's just like, thanks for giving me my recognition.
You realize now you've become like the NPC that everyone mashes A to get past the dialogue. You realize that now, right?
Oh yeah. No,
I want to get to that cat quest.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like in our campaign, like there's so many of those NPCs that you guys, all four of you guys are just like, okay, we don't give a shit. Let's keep going. Like that's all of you guys, David. Like,
I'm sorry.
Also, yeah, what I'm referencing is I'm running a D&D campaign that David is a part of, and he's a freaking dwarf druid who's a dick. And
like, now I'm not a dick by choice. I'm a dick by action. So two very
different. And so far, your actions are like not justifiable at all.
I like his
like they're not.
And Evan can tell this as a fact. Like probably I think it was this last session. I was just like going over my character sheet. I'm like, I am in my alignment. I'm like, I am not lawful neutral.
No, you're
just
not.
Like, no,
you are absolutely not
right now.
You're chaotic neutral.
And he made me change it.
Yeah. He was just like, I'm lawful neutral. And I was just like, no, you're not. Change it. I remember that conversation. You were like looking over your sheet and you were just like, oh yeah, I forgot. I'm like lawful neutral. And I just like perked up from my DM screen. I was just like, what? Excuse me? No, the hell you're not.
What is this black magic?
And he was just like, he basically was just like, he didn't even skip a beat. I was just like, I'm lawful neutral. He's like, no, you're not. You need to change that to chaotic right now. Everyone else was just like, yeah, why is it lawful? I'm just like, I'm sorry, I rolled that. So that's what I just put down.
Okay, if you rolled it, then play the character that way, not like a chaotic dick.
It's hard to. It really is hard to play a lawful, like a really real lawful druid, because we're already like mischievous as it is. Like it, I don't know. I'm trying my best. I'm doing what I can, man.
Okay, less like wild shape in public places and pouring beers on people. Like less of that.
All right.
Okay.
I mean, that sounds like a better time if I can.
I wish my character was as cool as your character name, though. I mean, frankly, Nathaniel, I feel like for somebody who, because that was your first campaign you played with Evan, right? When you did that one-off.
Well, it wasn't. Well, it wasn't.
Yeah,
it wasn't meant to be a one-off. He was meant to be part of the campaign. But yeah. But
but then I just like dropped out because
it was like work stuff, and it just wasn't good timing. But yeah, he had a tiefling friggin' named Bobby Dean that had
Tillamook, Bobby
Dean Tillamook, and he had the most like podunk like Alabama accent I've ever heard in my life. And the first thing he did is he went to the farmer's market and bought a bag of onions. Like,
honestly, everything I didn't really follow any sort of logic.
No,
it was
really
just nonsense.
I couldn't tell.
A walking meme.
Really? I thought buying all those onions was the sensible choice.
How did you come across the name Bobby Dean? Like that name just rolls so well.
We were making his character together, and I was and he was like, okay, now you got to name it. And they're like on the tiefling page, it's like they typically name themselves after like emotions or whatever, or like certain events or whatever. And he was just like, he just looked at me with the straightest face and was just like, Bobby Dean. And I'm just like, are you sure?
I was just like, what name will fit the least, and which name is like funny that I can get away with? That was my thought process.
Yeah, it was just Bobby Dean, and I was just like, okay, it's your character. I'm not gonna tell you no.
Hey, I think he did a pretty good job for a first character, though. Like,
yeah, I know he did.
Like, the first character I had, like, I think I was trying too hard to encapsulate too many things, and I feel like that kind of happens like regardless of what you're doing when you're trying to like make something your own. You always have that worry of like, what if I don't like this later on? I need this to be adaptable, you know? So, but Bobby Dean, like, goddamn, that sounds like a raid boss in the making.
Okay. Okay. I really think we got to start on this topic. Otherwise, we're never going to. So we were all children once. That's a weird start.
I mean, did that ever change?
I'm still a child, or some could argue.
Actually, Evan, you said you just hit puberty today, so congrats.
Oh, that's right. I'm not a child today. That's right. I'm not a child anymore. When I was a child, like 2 months ago, we've all had like our coming of age like moment where we saw a girl and we're like, oh, she's pretty, and like the first time we didn't think about cooties, right? But we're talking more like on the fictional side. What was some of our like fictional female crushes growing up as kids? I thought that would be a fun thing, and then we can kind of laugh at each other and call each other names for liking certain characters, because that's what the cool kids do, right?
I don't. Do you think I know what a cool kid does? Do you think?
Hey,
yeah, of course, cool kids rip like fat vapes and use their mom's credit card.
Oh,
to buy skins on Fortnite.
God, well that would make my credit score much easier, wouldn't it?
It would. It absolutely would.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Oh, you have to pay for the things.
Yeah.
Whoa. No.
Are you talking about cool kids in like middle school, or cool kids now that we're like, well, I guess I'm not in my 20s anymore, but now that we're older than 20?
Oh, geez. Nathaniel, how old are you?
I'd rather not say.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll tell you what. I'll get us started, since you guys seem to be dancing around the subject.
Well, I can go straight into it. I already know like 3 off the top of my head.
I also know. I know
but
2
he's
as
falling
well.
on the spike, so let's see him slide down. So
I'm just thinking like it'd be fun, like not necessary to have a list, but just kind of like start naming some off, and then like we'll remind each other of other ones as they come along, and that would just be fun. One of the first ones that I had when I was a kid growing up was Misty from Pokemon. That was like one of my first ones, because like when I was watching Pokemon, I was just like, oh, I like her hair, and like she's cute, I like her. And then so like Misty, I think, was probably one of the first like animated characters that I kind of like had a crush on. So
I mean, same. And she was like kind of a bully, which I guess as a kid I kind of dug for some reason.
I mean,
and she was like kind of funny. And also I didn't know what that was at the time, but midriff. She does show her midriff. So
I didn't know that was a thing that I was
can't
into.
agree. Like,
no,
I don't know. I've always seen her. Like, I think I remember too. I was watching Pokemon.
I always see her.
I remember watching it as a kid, but then like later on, you go through those revamps where you're just like, I remember watching this, but I probably missed some stuff, so I want to rewatch it again. And that was like probably 10. Like, I want to say I've probably, it's actually probably been about 10 years, or maybe probably 12 since that thing came out, and then I rewatched it maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And like I remember my first reaction to Misty after the first episode where she finds Ash, and I'm just like, God, she's a what the fuck? Like, and then like I'm like, well, maybe she changes. I remember her being nicer, and then I was like, no, she's just an old Brock. She's just like whiny and bitchy and complaining.
I don't like her.
Like this is a gym leader. Like, how is this a gym? Like, and then after the gym episode where I understood she had a bunch of sisters, I'm just like, oh well, she's the youngest, so
I guess that makes sense.
This is how I am too. So,
so I guess the big hot button question is: were you guys Nurse Joy or Officer Jenny kind of guy?
Oh man, well, the Officer Jenny Nurse Joy is hard because there's literally one in every town. So,
well, no, it's not about.
Which is strange.
You know what's funny? I actually didn't necessarily care for each, because this is really. I actually didn't realize this before, but Brock was into them, so I was like, "Oh, I guess I can't be into them because Brock."
That's
is into
such
them.
weird logic.
I know. I it just kind of dawned upon me. It's just like, well, I don't want to be like he's just always so horny over them. I'm not gonna like.
Right.
Oh, I thought it was more like, I thought it was more like, Brock's into them. I'm gonna let him do him. I'm gonna focus on Misty over here.
Yeah, because Ash obviously wants to none of
Dude, Ash, like,
hearted.
Yeah,
straight up Down syndrome.
I mean,
to be fair, he's 10.
Yeah, he's been 10 for 20 years.
Yeah, and then when he finally got older, he turned into a Samoan and then
I know, like
won.
he got super tan and like became Hawaiian for some reason, and it's just like, all right, I guess that's.
I mean, they did go through a Hawaiian arc, like where they were in a basically
Which,
Hawaii
okay.
Pokemon place. By the way, the latest anime, it's the soft reboot is incredible. It's actually it's totally different and is actually really funny. I watch it in Japanese with my roommates. It's so good. Anyway, that's just a very
question is how ridiculous is the hair? Because I mean,
not
no, I swear to God, I saw a
like
picture
whose hair? Ash's?
of I don't know who it is in the storyline because I don't follow it anymore. But I saw this girl who, like, I imagine they make out to be like 10 at the oldest or 11, and her body is about half the length of her hair, and I'm like, how is this possible? Like, I asked that about
maybe side characters. Maybe some side characters have kind of weird hair, but main characters not.
Are you kidding me?
I was like
you could play a whole game of guess the protagonist based on the hair. Like,
oh, absolutely.
So
yeah, Ash and Go's hair is pretty normal.
That's true. Ash's hair is probably the most like normal out of like any like anime like protagonist. But then after that, it just gets like it gets really weird.
Like Jessie, like throughout the Pokemon series, her hair defies any gravity. Like Newton is like not rolling in his grave. He's literally on the spin cycle in his coffin from that hair somehow.
I think actually that has caused him to float. It's just got rid of gravity for him.
Like
he's not in his grave.
And
he's
it's
in the
worse
sky
too
now.
because it's not even like it droops down naturally and it's a natural curl. It's a singular curl that starts horizontally and then tapers down. So either her head is like cone shaped but in a horizontal way and we don't see it, or
she has a wire like
way too much hairspray. Or I would like an arc. I'd like an arc to see their childhood because Jessie's kind of tame. Jessie's like I don't know, like Jessie compared to James. Like James is, I don't know. James, even though he's the guy, his hair never moves. And there's like an actual like people have done videos on this where they've never changed. They have 3 frames of hair for him, and they've never changed it. They've never given a different angle. They've never shown it in a different way unless he has a costume on. His hair never moves, never changes. And I'm like perplexed. So I want an arc. I want a specific arc behind that. And also an arc behind the parents of all of the Nurse Joys. And
well, no, they're just clones made in cloning facilities. That's all they are.
Either that or the parents are Nurse Joy and Officer
Big
J.
twist. They're all dittos.
Somehow.
I mean, David, you've watched Purple Eyes Code Geass.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, Code Mint. It's like, Colin, where do babies come from? When a woman and another woman love each other very much.
Okay, never mind.
never mind. Okay, never mind. It all makes sense. I love that show so much.
I got another crush.
Oh yeah.
This is probably, I want to say it's my first one because I started out with I like stuff that's cool when I was little. I don't know how old.
I like cool things.
I like cool. I don't like cute. I don't like pretty. I like stuff
but that's a
cool.
good trait though, because it's a good sign, early on sign. It's an affirmation that you are not a hipster at all.
So yeah, I hadn't actually played any of her games before, but I knew her from Smash Bros. And I love Samus. She was just so cool. But unlike a lot of other people, I knew it was a female. I was like, okay, this is a woman, but she's so cool. And then when I got into my teen years, I like started playing her games, and that's when they kind of redesigned her to have like that skin tight suit. Ooh. So it was like the perfect transition time to be like, wow, Samus is not only cool, she's sexy, and I know what that means.
You know the interesting fact behind that too? the whole reason why they switched from suited Samus to the Zero suit was actually it was actually a woman's idea on the writing staff. And
Oh, really?
yeah, and because I guess their numbers were tapering off. And I remember reading something about it where they were just trying to figure out a way to refresh the game without changing it too much. And she was just like, oh, why to have a suit on? You know, she can still be as strong without the suit. And it was probably during a time where like it was one of those like, oh, well, women don't need help to do what they need to do. So, but I think it worked out for them because in a way they kind of and 100% like affirmation. Yeah, it's male fan service in every sense of the way, but it was probably one of the better moves for that character, frankly, because otherwise you'd kind of have the whole Space Jane kind of mentality for that character.
Well, actually, if you think about it, if you go back to the first like original NES Metroid game, at the end of the game, depending on, I think it was depending what you did, she had like a bathing suit, like a one piece.
It shows either
with the Justin Bailey glitch or code.
Well, it was
whatever.
based on the percentage and how fast you finished the game. Because I remember too in Metroid Fusion, that's what happened too. If you finished it and got all of the items, she'd take off her helmet, and then depending on if you did both or if you did it in a certain way, she'd not have the suit on at all. So I feel like that was sort of like a nice little nod to the fact that it's like, okay, yeah, she's a girl, you know, depending, you know, that was kind of cool. And I think that developing more on that side of things was helpful for her character, because otherwise I feel like she'd always, like, people would always kind of be questioning the whole, oh, is it a girl or a boy? And like, I don't know if it was that moment, Nathaniel, that you found out that, I mean, you said that you knew that she was a girl way back, but like, I feel like with a lot of people who don't finish those games like us completionists do, they wouldn't have ever known, or they wouldn't have known about her in that way. But yeah.
Yeah, I think Smash Bros. Is the biggest one that once they put Zero Suit Samus in is where people were like, oh, okay. Like everyone knew. I just knew because someone told me like in the beginning.
How did you really find out?
I was like, okay, that makes sense.
Tell us.
Okay.
No.
He went to school. He went on Ask Jeeves.
I didn't have the internet, so not like that.
Oh.
Okay. I got
I was homeschooled.
He's pulling the rope back. He's just like, nope, come on.
I know. I'm trying to lead the horse. So because I run my headphones into the wall. Okay, so Winry, Full Metal Alchemist. No. Why not?
No.
Why?
Yes. No.
Again, I'm sorry, but people who fit the Misty profile, aka any woman who talks / too much, I cannot. Like,
she doesn't.
Like, yeah, that's also why I'm.
But she doesn't. I mean, she's just
anytime she's around Ed, it's a complaint. It's her being mean to him. Like,
I think he's scared.
Like Alphonse, she's fine with, oddly, and I get that. But like, for her to always be mean, like, come on, have some character. Like, even in the flash forwards when she's older, she's still mean as hell to Ed, and I'm just like, can you just have development as a character and learn to move past like whatever childish crap?
Though.
Okay, as someone who's just watched the entire Brotherhood anime in the past couple months, like I recently watched the whole thing. She does have character development, and the mean thing is more of a cover up for her feelings, and she does move past it to some extent, but it's because she doesn't want to acknowledge her attachment.
And that's the thing too, is like, I know they end up together at the end, and you know that should like redeem whatever character trait she has, but like, I don't know, like for me, like I take a lot out of first impressions because I'm a retarded Irish, Native American, Italian person.
I'm gonna hit you.
Well, the thing is, though, I don't think it was supposed to redeem it. I think it was supposed to be a resolution, because the entire time they were they were kind of like fighting the fact that they were developing feelings for each other, because their whole lives they were just childhood friends. They were like almost like siblings. So they were kind of like, no, like it's weird to like feel this way. But then like at the end they were like, no, like I love this person and like I want to be with them. And it's just kind of like it's more of a resolution, not a redemption thing for.
Well, for me,
for
it was just
Winry.
like
I
even
think,
through the process, though, she still didn't change her attitude. She softened up, but she still had that like hard ass sort of mentality. And I don't know. Look, man, you're gonna judge me for my.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
harshly, like.
Especially because you didn't even let Evan get into it. You were just like,
like no, absolutely not.
I'm sorry, man. There's people like I'm just
full metal garbage.
But no, like I mean, yeah, like she could be kind of like hard, like kind of like hard sometimes. But like the thing is, like she's harder on him because it's like mostly because like she wants him to be safe and to be okay. And the fact that he keeps coming back with like broken auto mail, she's like, you're not being safe. Like I'm telling you not to like be stupid. And like, and it's like frustration, like out of like worry. It's not like she's being a for no reason. And also she works on her craft and she's like proud of her work. So when she comes back and sees that he busted up his auto mail again, she's like, God damn it, I worked really hard on that. Like, so I feel like her frustration and like her attitude could be justified most of the time. And like at the end when they end up together, it's like that's more of a resolution than it is just a redemption thing. Like, oh look, she's not like a terrible person anymore.
Yeah,
and
I don't think she has much to redeem.
No. I mean, she had her arc with Scar and kind of like and like forgiving him and stuff like that. I think that was probably her biggest like character arc moment. And then she got through that, and she's So I thought she was great. I loved her, but whatever.
Look, I'm not trying to like dissuade your feelings.
I still gotta say though, Full Metal Alchemist, and no, go away, David. Full Metal Alchemist is still like my top like. Oh, it's my favorite story out there. It's just so good. It's so good. David, shut up.
Christ.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. So what were you going to say?
Wait, which time? Oh, okay.
No, you shut up. Don't say anything.
Oh, jeez.
Remember that whole demanding thing? Like you basically just control deleted me just then. You were just like, go. I'm like, wait, what? I was talking? When? How? No.
Actually, I just hit the computer with a hammer is what I did. So do you got another entry?
Let me see.
I swear to God, if you don't say one in particular, I'm gonna be especially mad. I'm not even gonna give you hints, but if you don't say it, I'm gonna be like, okay, you know what?
Okay, so
you have lost pointage.
I'm probably gonna get flack for this one, but don't judge me on this one, okay? Okay. Lola Bunny.
How dare you?
See, I knew it. I knew I was gonna get like. Please don't be quiet right now.
Half of me. Yeah, I was not trying to. I was actually trying so hard to say something, but I couldn't because half of it is utter befuddlement, and the other half is, you know what? You may actually have a point.
Oh, see, I'm not crazy, right? I'm not a furry. I'm not a furry. I'm just saying, like,
what is going on?
What do you mean? What's going on? Okay, fine. Okay, let's get off this topic since David's uncomfortable.
No, go ahead. Look,
yeah. Well, I'm not going to go into an explanation. It's just like clearly, you don't want to admit it, so we'll just move on.
Just say the name Lola.
I thought you were gonna say Jessica Rabbit, and I was just like,
oh no.
Sense. And then you said Lola. I'm just like, but there's two things differentiating her from Bugs Bunny. One is she wears clothes.
Yeah.
And two is she has hair.
No, she doesn't.
I mean,
she does.
In the new animated one, in the new animated show, I guess she does. But like, I'm talking about like Space Jam Lola Bunny.
Oh,
yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I mean,
She has hair in Space Jam. It's like just on the
she's
top.
like a little tough, but then like her ears are like her ponytail at the like that's kind of like what.
Yeah, it's like quotation marks hair.
Quotation mark hair?
It's not like hair. It's just like a tuft.
You mean like hair is in the bunny?
Yeah. I see what you mean. I get it.
Okay, David, if you're so pure, who's your like actual pick that's better than Lola?
I mean,
Bunny?
now this doesn't count with cartoon. Well, I guess it does, but
it doesn't have to be cartoon.
As everyone knows, one of my two favorite childhood movies besides Fox and the Hound is Hercules. And
Meg.
I mean, needless to say,
I don't know. I was never into it.
Okay, now Evan.
Moving swiftly on.
Why am I in the wrong? Why are you guys allowed to have your opinions,
hey,
but I'm not allowed to?
I'm not gonna stand.
Hey, I backed you up.
Down.
I know you backed me up on mine, but the thing is, like, at the moment. Okay, no, it's fair. Like, I just didn't get it. I was just like, all right, she's her,
okay,
you do you, her. Go for it.
The other one. From Kim Possible, not main character Kim.
What?
Kim Jong-un?
When was he ever in that?
Is it Sheba? What's her name?
You're very close. I'm not going to give you hints. I want to see if you can reverse it.
Oh, no, I know. I was about to say Shifu, but that's Kung Fu Panda.
Just imagining him with black and green hair.
Oh my gosh. What's her name? Oh my gosh.
Come on. You can do it.
Jonathan.
You want me to give you a hint?
Shigo. Is that it? No. It is? Okay. Your silence like confused me for a second. I was just like, is that not it? I'm trying to picture the blue guy saying it like Shigo.
Right.
As someone who didn't really watch Kim Possible but knows what Shigo looks like, I gotta say, ew.
What?
¿Por qué?
She just rubs me the wrong way. She just like looks.
I had a hard I knew a lot of friends that like thought Kim was a cute character, but I had a really hard time with that because like my mom's name is Kim, so I was just kind of like,
Okay.
I don't know. I can't really like.
I'm glad you had a hard time with it.
Yeah,
actually.
It's like she's a great character and she's really fun, but I was just like, I don't know. Like my mom's name is Kim. I can't really have a thing for someone whose name is Kim.
Because if you would have been like, weird. Her name was Kim, like my mom, and that was like awesome.
Yeah, I would. I went the exact opposite direction with that one.
Jesus,
I have to
explain, David.
You don't have to explain. It's just that's. Well, okay, so let's talk about that, I guess. So, like, why, like, you have a problem with Winry because she's kind of but Shigo's literally a bad person. Like, what do you, like,
all right, well,
your tastes are all over the window, dude. Like, all over the place.
Here's an easy explanation. Now, so you have Misty, who she is supposed to be a supportive character. Now, not to say she isn't in any regard, but as a supportive character, she does as little supporting as possible. And I mean that in the sense that she will help, but only if it abides her own sanity or her own way of not being involved in any way. And same when it comes to, like, I mean, with Winry too, she's like reluctantly helping her childhood friend whom she has feelings but never admits it till much later or until a dire, situation. So for me, it's more of like an alignment kind of thing. It's more of like you've stood by your character as a person, and that's fine. Like, I don't know. It's just something about somebody who's like, who's their own person.
If she's a terrible person for the entire time and that's just who she is, and she's also attractive, you're into it?
Oh, no.
If she's honest about it.
At least she's honest about being a bad person. Like,
yeah, I mean, like, well, here's the thing, though. Shigo never needed help.
David.
Shigo never needed help. Meg never needed help that much either. My point being, like,
Okay, I gotta say, there's lies, there's damn lies, there's statistics, there's deception, and then there's every word that comes out of your
hey,
damn mouth.
I'm gonna
David.
keep rolling till I hit a D20 on deception, or
I got
like-
a plus 14 on perception. Let's do it.
I mean, I roll my shoe again. No, but I guess
yeah.
I don't like. I think for me, it was more or less like, and maybe more on the Meg side. It probably makes more sense as a person because she does like kind of have a change of heart or whatever. But like for the Kim, not Kim, for the Shigo, I don't like. It was more or less just like she had sort of like an attitude that was kind of, I don't know, alluring. No, I'm kidding.
Ew.
No, I can see that. I like villains a lot of the time, but I think
Reaction is
I think we can say that. I think about David, we can say he go crazy for Shigo.
Oh, damn. Okay, so I have. Okay, so you guys both watched Kogias, right?
Yes.
No, I've only seen the first episode.
What? Damn it. Okay, so we can't talk about that. Okay.
Because I do want to watch
It's
it.
great,
at some point.
dude. Just watch the abridged. It's better.
It is actually really better and has a better storyline.
In a weird way, yeah.
Not better in the sense now. Code Geass has amazing writing.
Code Geass has great like philosophy and stuff in it. It's great, but like,
does it have comedy? Is that
it
what
doesn't
is?
really have a lot of comedy in it, but
Now-
the abridged version is great. It's just stupid.
As-
Okay, so this is kind of like a fresh topic for me because I recently watched it all the way through, and now Lotta is watching it for the first time. Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah,
She's like like halfway through the second season now, so she's kind of caught up on a lot of stuff. So
that's where I'm at.
okay, so I thought this would be a fun game. So all the Avatar: The Last Airbender like female characters, I thought it'd be fun if everyone tried to guess like who the other one liked like the most in each show or like in the show. So I'm gonna guess. I'll guess David guess Nathaniel, and then Nathaniel guess for me. Okay, we'll just go like that.
All
right. So so David, I'm gonna guess that your biggest crush from that show was. Oh, this is hard now. This is hard. I'm trying to think because now I'm putting all the characters up to your criteria. Of like crazy as long as she's always crazy. So that's
I think. Well, I guess
it's easy to guess.
Yeah. I'm gonna guess Azula.
Wow, how did I know you were gonna guess her?
Whoa. Am I right though?
No, you're completely
okay.
Wrong spectrum.
Who was your actual crush?
So I don't know if you even recall the name Ty Lee, but
yeah.
She's is that one of those ninja girls?
Her bubbliness is like kind of refreshing in that show.
Yeah, she's the girl that can block the chi.
Yeah. Plus, like you only get like that kind of bubbliness from two other characters in the show, and Iroh and in Sokka, and in a vast majority of the Earth and Fire book saga, they just don't really highlight Iroh, and that's very well missed.
Yeah.
So
all right, David.
Bubbly and upbeat.
Okay, now David, guess Nathaniel.
Toph. Next.
Yeah.
I love the yeah.
I mean, so actually, I was gonna say I was a little bit older when that came out, so I was like, they're kids, so nah. Fair enough. But I love Toph. Toph is
Toph is great. She's probably like my favorite character. Like,
yeah, I would say Sokka and Toph are tied.
Like, not my crush, but like definitely like my favorite character. Like I love her.
Absolutely.
She's funny. She creates metal bending. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I love her. She's awesome.
My favorite scene is when they're looking for Appa and they're putting signs up.
Oh,
And Sokka Sokka
maybe you should come
says,
with me.
Like, Yeah, you can't really help. It's just like, what? I can't put up a sign, and she like slaps this massive glob of glue, and then puts the picture on backwards, so it's not even shown.
I know. Yeah, it's like it's upside down, isn't it? It's like no, it's worse. It's backwards.
It's backwards.
It's like,
honestly, rewatching this thing is like it's well warranted how like love this show.
Oh yeah,
is.
absolutely.
Like, I hadn't seen it in like since it came out, basically.
Like it does a really great job with like the linear storyline and kind of like the episodic like different themes in each episode. It's a kid's show, so it kind of has to like do that, but it does a really good job with like having like an end goal, and like each season gets you closer to that. That's why I think if that did better. That's what I think The Last Airbender did better with did better than Legend of Korra with, because with Legend of Korra there was no like overarching, like there was like 3 main bad guys in each one, so it's just kind of like you had to get reinvested in each like story each season. So that kind of,
I was talking to my roommates about it because I haven't watched any of Legend of Korra.
You're not missing much on it
because my siblings hated it when it aired to some extent, and they were talking about the politics behind Nickelodeon.
There's so much politics in it. It's so like,
and that's why the show like
that was
so
during
much,
the Great Purge era for Nickelodeon, because they got rid of a lot of their shows that I felt were more wholesome than the garbage they replaced it with. And it was in that same breath that they got rid of iCarly. They got rid of a few different really good shows, and at the same time they were trying to make this once popular like genre that they kind of dominated in a way. I feel like that was also sort of an avenue for a lot of people to get into anime in general, and they kind of just blundered and made it too much about like the social standings of everything. And it's the thing that I didn't understand about Nickelodeon, and maybe they didn't get the concept too. It's a fantasy world. It's an anime show. You don't have to like there's no genders. There's no genders. There's no races. You don't mean to put little subtle undertext. Parents aren't watching this with their kids.
And the thing is, even
let it be fun,
even if they
enjoyable.
That's what you can still put like deep kind of like philosophical messages in there that the parents can get.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be like super political and like, you know, in your face about it all the time. It's very it's jarring, and it's just it was like a really weird like big step in maturity that I didn't think it needed to take from The Last Airbender. But we're not here to talk about that. We're not here to talk about that. It's just that was just a little side comment that I thought.
Oh yeah, I still have to guess Evans.
Yeah,
and I gotta say I don't know actually.
I mean, I got my answers.
Toph? I don't know.
Not Toph.
Please don't say Katara, because I absolutely despise
Why?
Katara.
Why do you hate Katara?
She is the most annoying, obnoxious, stick up her butt, annoying. I just don't like Katara at all. She never changes. She's always obnoxious, thinks she knows everything, always thinks she knows best for the Avatar, even though she's 11 or whatever.
I think she was supposed to be 16, I think. Or like 14 or 15
even
or
worse.
Something. She was,
even worse. I just do not like Katara.
See,
that wasn't my answer. I don't like.
I said
entire thing.
Toph was my answer.
I like Suki.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, I like Suki. I thought.
Yeah, I forget who Suki is. So.
She's one of the she's the Kyoshi warrior that Sokka falls in love with.
Okay, yeah,
she's great. I like her. And like, even though she had like limited screen time, not scream time.
Well, she didn't do that much
either. Just like it's like Sokka. But yeah, so and the limited screen time that she had, I thought she was a really fun character, and she's like, I also just like how like she's like a fighter, and it's just a fun, like she's a fun character, and I really liked her. So
Word.
I agree with Katara. I think Katara is a fun character, and she's like a really strong, like powerful character. She's like a really like important character to the story. But I agree, and like a lot of kind of agrees with this too. She's like, I don't like how Katara is like the mom figure, and she's like that shit. It's like weird because they're all kids, and she's like acting like the mom. And I was just like, well, and my only thought about that is it kind of makes sense because like their mother died like a long time ago, so growing up like she kind of had to be the mother figure for a lot of people, and that's just kind of like how she was raised, and just it's a lot of like habits. But I would say she has moments where she's like, okay, like I shouldn't have to be like this way all the time, and she does get better about it, and like I think by the end she's kind of like growing up like out of that, and she's kind of like, I don't have to be this for everyone can make their own choices and like take care of themselves. In the beginning she can be very insufferable,
because I'm halfway through season 2 and she's very still insufferable.
Season 3, like she's insufferable. She not insufferable, but she has like issues that she deals with, and it gets resolved. And I think that's kind of like a resolution basically for everything, for like all of like the way she was acting through like the first 2 seasons. So it's kind of a good payoff, but it's still like, I agree.
Also, we have to realize they're kids, and some adults don't get rid of that until
that's
they're old,
true. Like the fact that she showed any growth at all as like a 14-year-old is impressive. So like good for her.
Yeah.
Some 30-year-olds don't even know how to act right.
I feel so called out right now. No, I'm just kidding.
He's not 30 or not.
I'm 30.
So Nathaniel, were there any shows that you watched that maybe David and I didn't get a chance to watch because we were still little babbies?
Wow.
Since you are the older one.
Question: which Sailor Moon?
Ooh.
Yeah, I actually didn't watch Sailor Moon. I know that was not part of my childhood. I just knew what Sailor Moon was.
Okay, David. Which Sailor Moon were you?
Wait.
Which Sailor Moon was I?
Yeah. Oh no. I mean, okay. Which one did you like? You know what I meant with that question. Don't try to be stupid. Don't try to be stupid.
Like, okay.
I was gonna like pull it up. Like, well, actually, you see, I voice acted for Sailor Moon. No, I didn't. I wish I did. Actually, I wonder how much they made voice acting from that, because that was actually one of the first few animes that made it over here. So I wonder how much
it was low.
Like
it was really low because it was uncharted territory. So like they could charge them really low, and because like that way, if it failed, then the production company didn't lose that much money.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually true.
Now Funimation and Toei and all that stuff, like they're huge, like multi-million, almost billion-dollar corporations. So it's like all these voice actors, they can afford to pay them, 6-figure salaries, and it's fine. So
yeah, and that's what's crazy too, is how big of a jump animes had from like that small piddly like 4 kids. To think 4 kids was a controlling interest in any anime dub makes me vomit in my mouth.
The 4 kids dub is terrible.
I'm like, who allowed these people there?
Did you? Oh, fun fact. Actually, this is about a Japanese company, but not Funimation or anything like that. Which I don't even think that's a Japanese company. Oh no, it is. But Nintendo, it wasn't always a video game company. It was in the 1800s. They were like a card. They were kind of like a playing card like company, and like they made like
Hanafuda cards.
Yeah, Hanafuda cards. Yeah, that was like the original like Nintendo game. Basically, was like before video games.
Which that's something to be said too for that company, because having then not only developed but helped nourish Pokemon into the card game it is now, and one of the most recognizable card collecting games, it's kind of a sign to be for that time, for them to be able to put something that probably in that time was kind of considered sort of strange or different to play a card game, because especially 1800s, that's far in the past. The first card game that was developed beyond like having a regular deck of cards, I think was in sometime in the 1980s.
Yeah.
Wow.
So having them do that so far in advance and kind of have sort of that in their belt, or I doubt any of the people back then are alive for that today, but having that being their legacy, I feel like that definitely helped with their ability to make that sort of that immense like just jump. Because think about it, for a company that at the time didn't have any involvement in card games for however long that was afterwards, and for the most part they were just a development company that helped smaller media forms like video games, and probably not until maybe the early 90s, maybe even the early or late 80s, they didn't have any following really towards cards in general. And then for them to kind of just decide, oh, well, Pokemon seems like a good game to make collectible cards out of. Let me try and, see what this comes as. And I think, like, off of my head, probably other than baseball cards, that's probably the biggest collectible card, franchise out there. I know Evan and I, we were into Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'm sure we both collected Pokemon cards at some point.
That's a great voice clip.
By the way, like,
also, fun fact,
and
Nintendo actually owned a Love Hotel at some point.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, I think it was in 1900s at some point.
Another fun fact, I'm sweating my balls off in my recording studio because it has terrible like insulation, and I'm like in a t-shirt and boxers right now. So like that's kind of in my I'm in my nerd and out shirt, which
nerd and out boxers were mine.
I don't have I didn't make boxers. I don't even think you can make boxers on that website. I have to check and see if I could. I totally want to make some nerd out boxers now. But yeah. So I think.
Well, I guess to answer the original question Evan had, Pluto. So.
Oh, Pluto. I like Sailor. Oh crap! What was who's the green one again? What was the green one?
Now there was two green ones. Now there was the green one that didn't have green hair, which was Jupiter. There's Neptune that actually had green hair, and then there's Pluto that had a dark green hair. So choose your character.
I think it was.
Sounds like a salad.
I think it was. Oh no, it was Sailor Jupiter. I like Sailor Jupiter.
A lot of people like Jupiter
with the baseball hat, like ponytail coming out the back, like that's a good look.
That's a good look.
That's oh yeah. That and the athletic girl aesthetic. I'm into it. I think that's why I liked. Winry, just because like she just kind of had this athletic girl like aesthetic to her, so it was just kind of like I'm into that.
And to answer your question, David, about which show that you guys were babies for, did you guys ever see Card Captors?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Besides that, I don't know what else. That was such a geeky like show.
Card Captors Akira.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that. I remember that. Oh, it's so terrible.
It's been years before I even thought of that.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So was that now? That being said, is there anybody from that show that you're just like, oh no, I'm kidding.
I just remember the main character, but she was annoying.
See, isn't that such a I don't know. I guess, and maybe that's a part of the whole topic Evan was talking about, how you're kind of turning of age, and maybe it just takes a certain thing for you to get out of that mentality that girls are just annoying. Because like I had that mentality for a while. Like I like even like I guess even now, like certain characters, like so not to be off topic on anime, but like I'll have to watch certain shows. Supportive boyfriend, you have to do those things. And I think that's kind of a tropey bullcrap thing, and guys shouldn't have to sit through the garbage that they enjoy for whatever reason. But anyway, so we'll have to sit through shows, and my pick is going to be like obviously something from my childhood. Like I'm trying to get her to watch Mouse Hunt. Has anyone seen that movie besides
I don't know what that is.
me?
What is that?
Okay, so Mouse Hunt's a movie. God, I'm gonna have to explain the synopsis really fast. So basically, what it is
I do know
two
it.
brothers.
I remember this.
Yeah,
Friggin' the voice of Timon is in it.
yeah.
That guy's in it. Yeah, that's right.
So two brothers, and they own a string factory. Their uncle dies and leaves them this big grand house. Well, they find out this house is sort of a paw, and all the while they're already getting bankrupt from their string factory. And in lieu of them knowing this, they stay at this house, and then they realize real fast that, oh, wait, this house isn't just any house. It's from an architect that's pretty famous, because they find these like architectural designs from, I think the dude's name was like Charles Lalaurie or something, who was an actual person, I think. But anyway, so they find out it's a fancy place, and then this guy, is like, oh, well, you can fix this for a lot of money. And so all the while, they find out there's a mouse problem in the house. Well, in particular, it's from the perspective of a singular mouse. And so they're trying their best to kill this mouse. And I mean, like, Nathaniel, if you haven't seen this movie, please do. But there's scenes where they lay out literally a floor of mouse.
Wait, is this the movie where some guy chokes on a roach?
Yes.
Oh gosh, that movie is traumatizing.
That's the beginning. That's why the other brother, he had a restaurant at the same time, I think. But yeah, it was just kind of a.
Is there a stop between here and the point?
So for instance, I'm wanting to watch stuff like that, and she wants to watch shows like, oh god, what's the other one? It's an Australian like show about mermaids, and yeah, I don't really know how to describe it other than just two girls that all somehow. Yeah, I know I'm allergic to crap.
Sorry. I unmuted myself just to get that on recording.
But yeah.
So
don't know where I was going with that.
That was the most emphatic.
I never know where you're going with anything, David. You just kind of go.
How bad is that?
I mean,
where I started.
I mean,
we were talking about Sailor Moon, and then all of a sudden you started talking about Mousetrap, like
Hunt. But yes.
Okay, big difference. Like, it's, oh my gosh! You corrected me with like tilting your glasses slightly with pursed lips.
I mouse.
Evan, it's Mouse Hunt. Like, I don't give a shit. That's not like, I don't care. Like, oh man. So that's just kind of us potentially humiliating ourselves, outing kind of characters that we like. We have ideas for future episodes. Hopefully we could get together like this, and we're recording remotely. I don't know if that was obvious.
No, we all
probably not.
Circular icons and a square. And
well, here's the thing. I was gonna say, here's the thing, David.
Why'd you break the immersion?
What do you mean break the immersion?
You broke the immersion.
They're not gonna. So you don't think anyone's gonna notice that there's all three of our audio qualities are different?
I'm sure ours and Nathaniel's are, but I'm sorry that Macho Man Savage over here had to have a little bit of a difference in
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Hey, I think we can all agree
childhood
on
crush,
thing.
Macho Man Savage. End of story.
No.